Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Oi, Let's Talk podcast.
Welcome.
Welcome. We were just saying before that we have one brain cell combined at the moment and it's working in overdrive.
Sometimes Kate takes over, sometimes I take over. We take turns.
Sometimes it's just dead in the water and it doesn't work at all.
Today, Kate's taking the lead for our shared brain cell. So what are we talking about today?
We're just giving you guys a bit of a life update. We're going to talk some shit. We're going to have a laugh. We're going to fill you in on what's been going on in our lives because I feel like we have a lot of shit to
unpack,
update you with. And yeah, who wants to go first?
I'll go first. You asked me some good ones yesterday and I was brainstorming. I don't know, I feel like it's a bit too early to do New Year's resolutions, but I feel really excited about the new year. Like I can't stop thinking about it. So the main thing that's been happening from me, other than the life updates I'll get into, is just like a lot of forward planning for next year and just a lot of like excitement about the new year. But the main thing that's been taking up a lot of mental space would just be Ben and I are renovating our house and it's hectic at home, especially as someone who works from home. So just to paint the picture for you guys, I've got a little home office and then we also have a dining room which Ben and I both work in. And because I am at home 90% of the time because the dogs and working online, it's been really hectic because at 7 a.m. in the morning, tradies get to our house and they're up and down, you know, there's drills, there's things happening. I did check-ins this week and when I was doing check-ins, surprisingly, Zoom is really good with noise cancelling because I tested this with my first check-in and I said, can you guys hear the drilling
that's
and
going
the
on
hammering upstairs? And they're like, we can't hear anything. And I was like, great. So anyway, long way around, but renovating probably for the next, I'm going to say 2 to 3 months, and it's our master bedroom, bathroom, and just like the whole upstairs area. And it's going to look amazing and I can't wait to show you guys. But that is probably the thing that I'm thinking about all the time because it's unavoidable because my house looks a little bit like a demo zone.
Yeah. I love that yesterday, just a little side note, me and Gemma have FaceTime unlocked now. So, you know, when you get to like we've been friends for 3 years, but you know, when you get to a level where you just like one person FaceTime somebody else one day and then all of a sudden it's like the limit of FaceTimes doesn't exist. No. I think I FaceTimed you yesterday 6 times. Accidentally,
and
one in the gym.
As well. You were like, call me back when you can, smiley face.
Okay. I was being full needy. Anyways, yesterday I called Gemma, I FaceTimed her, and then Ben took me through a walkthrough,
So detailed.
What was it? The hovering above floor toilet or something?
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh no, he uses all the technical terms.
Yeah.
I think it was like a wall. It was like wall hung.
Hovering toilet.
Wall hung automated toilet, but like every single thing he was taking through with, what are we doing? Video call.
Yeah, we were doing a FaceTime and he just like took it upon himself to go through immense detail about everything. He's like, the bed's going here, tape on the floor for where the bed is, telling me about the shelves, the pull-out shelves. I was like, I actually love this level of detail.
I also just love that man's brain. Like he's so pedantic. Just to give you guys a background, he is creative, like
tattoo artist,
very like detailed, and I'm like big picture, like decisions, let's go. And I just love the level of detail that this man goes into. So he has Pinterest folders for every room in the house. Then he has to visualize it. So like he'll build something like a prop of where something's going to be, and then he'd be like, nice. And then he'll confirm what he's going to do.
Even when we were on FaceTime, he was like, oh, so we're going to like go through here. And you're like, a door? And he's like, no door. And you're like, oh, that's news to me. Okay.
But there's so much just like trust there because I know what his vision is and it's just so funny just watching it unravel. Like sometimes at night I'll go to bed at say 9:30 and then I would have heard him come upstairs because we're also sleeping upstairs out of the way of the reno, and he'll come upstairs and then 50 minutes later I'll be like, I'll yell out, Ben. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm just looking. And he's just been standing in the room or watching, I'm sure
in
he's
the dark
plotting
with
things.
no electricity.
And I can't go to bed until he comes to bed because I have this thing where it's like I know that he's there. Anyway, it's pretty much taking up a lot of our mental capacity and there's lots of lists at the moment. We have a whiteboard, shared whiteboard, and we're ticking off things that are getting delivered and the logistics. But Ben's brother, Daniel, is project managing it and he's killing it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it like come to life. It's like a pretty big project.
Yeah, it is. And I love the fact that Kate's already spoken to me and to Ben saying, I'm sleeping over. Ben's going to have to go downstairs one night. You want a night in the master bedroom.
I just want one night. imagine this, right? Us with our bonnets on, brand new everything. Floor,
Everything.
bed, linen, brand new window for us to watch the sunrise.
Yep.
Are you kidding? Dream. And then I can take a bath in the morning.
There's no door, so we're really
Doesn't matter.
There's actually no boundary that exists anymore.
Boundaries, there's none.
No.
Zero.
Other than that, what's your life update? What's happening?
Well, I was actually laughing. You know how you were just saying then that you can't go to bed without like Ben being in the bed?
Yeah.
It just like triggered this memory that last night, so Aman's been like a little bit sick the last couple of days. So he's been sleeping on the couch. Don't know why. We have a spare room with a proper bed and everything, but he prefers to sleep on the couch. Last night I went to bed at like 7:30 because I'm a grandma. And I didn't realize that he was going to sleep back in the bed with me. I thought he was going to sleep on the couch. So in the middle of the night, it's the funniest shit. I don't know if it's funny to anyone else, but it's hilarious to me. In the middle of the night, I didn't know that he'd gotten into bed. So I thought it was one of the dogs. So I woke up in the night and pulled the blanket off him, was like, get out of the bed, thinking it was the dog. Because I was like, I can't move.
No.
Right at the moment, my parents are in Europe living their best lives for the next 4 weeks. Just before Christmas, they come home and we're currently taking care of their dog. So I've got 3 stuffies in my house.
that's dense. It's a lot of movement.
Oh, I've got so many life updates for you guys. Firstly, broke up my first dog fight.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Did I not tell you
no,
the
you
story?
haven't told me this. Between the 3?
Between my dog Kiki, my 3-year-old dog, and my mum's dog Nala, my parents' dog Nala. She's like an old stuffy, like I'd say she's maybe 12.
Yeah.
And they just got into a brawl and I had to fully break up a dog fight,
That's scary.
which was really scary. And I full cried about it because I was like, there's been lots of tears. Anyways, none of them were like badly hurt. Nala had like a bit of a cut on her neck. They're friends again. So we've just been like monitoring the vibe there.
yeah.
Anyways,
That's
so that's
why
my
dog
life.
parks actually terrify me. Just side note, I would never go to a dog park.
No.
There's just too many bad things that happen.
No.
And I just don't trust other people, unfortunately.
And dog fights are really scary. Like the only way to break up a proper dog fight is to like choke your dog out.
Yeah.
And like that
No.
terrifies
I'm not
me.
interested in any of
I'm
that.
not interested in any of it.
No.
Anyways, so we had to use a laundry basket to separate them. I had to put the laundry basket over her like a tortoise to like cage one of them.
Oh my God.
Because they wouldn't
Was
stop.
it just you home?
It was just me.
Yeah.
And then I called my brother in a panic, started crying. Anyways, that's a story for another day. One of my life updates was we went to Bali. So the last time we gave you guys a bit of a life update is we were going to Bali. That seems like the typical fucking theme of our life. We
had
went
the
to
best time.
Bali. We had the best time.
Okay. Not
You
all of
reckon?
it. Sorry. It was a slight lie. We had a really good time other than the things that were outside of our control.
Yeah.
Which were...
Look, we had a really good time until we got Bali and then dengue fever.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys don't know what dengue fever is, essentially you get it from mosquitoes that are present during the day and during the night. All it takes is one dengue-riddled little mosquito to land on your skin, bite you, and you're a fucking goner, mate, right? So I started getting like a scratchy throat and a really bad headache. And I was like, oh, maybe I've picked something up off the plane. Because it was like 4 or 5 days into our trip. It wasn't very long.
Early.
We were there for like 3 weeks, right? So I was like, oh, I'm starting to get like a bit of a sore throat. Whatever, it should be fine. In the morning, I should wake up okay. You're in and out of aircon all the time in Bali. So I'm like sleeping with an aircon on, being in the heat, back into the aircon. That's probably what's done it. Or like the recycled air on a plane. Then I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, no, this is bad. I was like hot and cold sweats. It's essentially like getting the flu, but 10 times worse. The body aches and the pain and like the headache that I had behind my eyes, like even moving my eyes was fucked. So for like 4 days, I was like dead. 3 days, I was dead. Gemma just kept knocking on my door and being like, do you need anything?
Every
Coconut water?
100%.
Pocari Sweat?
For
Do you want
3
some
days.
white rice?
I was just pushing in white rice, dry toast,
Yeah.
coconut water, Coke Zeros for
That's
3
all it
days. That's all
was.
she could have.
It
And she
was
just
so
lying
bad.
there.
And I didn't even really like drink any of it, eat any of it. So I decided, I think it was day 2 to call a doctor, got a drip done.
Yep.
But that like, it helped a little bit, but it didn't really like do too much. It probably just like lessened my symptoms instead of going on for a long period of time. I literally just had to like sweat it out. Imagine me, 3 days, I didn't shower. I couldn't get out of bed. Like the only time I got out of bed was to vomit because I felt so nauseous, which is another like thing of dengue. I was like so dehydrated. I was like a little prune, like a shriveled up prune in a bed in Bali.
When you finally escaped and came out of that room, I felt so happy. It was so sad.
and
for
then
3
we
days.
ate like so much gelato on the floor. That was my first meal
We
of
had
the day.
500 mils of gelato on the day that she could get out. And
Yeah. It was
bliss.
horrific. Thankfully, that didn't really impact why we were there. We were there for work with the Women's Fitness Academy. That didn't really impact me at all. I think I missed like 1 day Was it one day?
I think it was one day.
I don't even
the day we
remember.
were teaching together. I just taught. Yeah.
Gemma took one for the team. And then I was like, oh, I'm feeling fine. Like I'm back on the rise. And then 3 days after I started feeling better, I woke up in the middle of the night covered in a rash. And I was like in the bathroom. It started at my neck and then it was spreading all over my body. And I was so incredibly itchy. And that was when I like confirmed that I definitely have dengue fever. So obviously you have to get like a blood test to confirm if it's not. But like girls, we 100% had it. And I was just covered in a rash. And then the next day I just had a full mental breakdown on the bathroom floor, cried and thought about changing my ticket home early.
I also need to paint a picture. So Kate started breaking out in a rash, but she didn't really tell me like how bad she was feeling or anything like that. I didn't really know the extent of it. We were getting ready to go out for dinner in Seminyak, which is maybe 30 minutes away on a Gojek. So she's having a mental breakdown. I'm outside, fully dressed, taking selfies, ready for the night out. I'm feeling really good.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Really excited about whatever we're doing. And then I feel like she hasn't come out of her room for a while. And also I haven't heard from her, which is unusual.
Yeah.
So I go back inside and just imagine she's like in little shorts, in a crop top.
I was in nude coloured underwear.
There we go. Sorry.
It was like the ugliest picture
And like
you've ever
hunched
seen.
over and just crying. I think you might have had still a bonnet on at this point. So then I came over.
I had my makeup. So I had my makeup fully done. I think I was like full glam. My hair was in like an ugly bun. I was crouched over in nude underwear, like this ugly little fucking rat in the corner, bawling my eyes out.
And then I just came over because I had not read this situation. So I just came over and hugged you and I was like, what do you need? And you're like, I think I have a rash. And then I was like, okay, I'll be back in whatever, 5 minutes. I ordered a Gojek. I was like, I'll give you $10 if you drive me to the pharmacy, drive me back to this point. Let's go straight away. Go there, go to the pharmacy. I'm like, rash, this, dengue. And then they gave me all of these drugs and whatever we needed.
Yeah.
And then it came back really quick. You took those, you sat down. And then I was like, do you still want to go to dinner? I think it's going to rain. And you're like, nah, I think it will be fine. Like it's not going to rain, whatever. Like you were pretty confident that it was going to be fine. So we're on the way on separate bikes to dinner, again, 30 minutes away. And while we're on this trip over there, Kate's messaging me being like, I'm crying because I thought about our friendship. So she's emotional about our friendship. And
So it was just a day of big emotions for little old Kate. I was covered in a rash, but it was like a welt. Remember it on my legs?
bad.
It
And
was
it was
like
on your
all
eyes.
over my butt. It was all over my butt, all over my leg. And it was like a massive welty rash. So not only was it super itchy, but it was also painful. Then it was spreading all around my eyes and up like around my neck and on my ears and on my head. So it was just all over my fucking body. And every time I itched it, it just felt like it was spreading faster. So Gemma like took control. She went out to the pharmacy. She got all the stuff, came back. We got on a Gojek. I was like, we're going to dinner. Like I need to leave the house. This is like my first time I've left the house. We need to leave the house. I need to do something. We're on the bike. Gemma was like, it's going to rain. Like I'm telling you it's going to rain. I was like, it's fine.
also we both got fresh blow waves this day
Yeah.
because it was like celebrating the fact that Kate was good again.
Yeah. And then we're on the back of the bike and I had my headphones in and I was listening to really sad music because I just was in my feels, right? And like when I'm in my feels, let me feel it. You know what I mean? And then I was thinking about, oh my God, Gemma is like the perfect human I've ever met. I love her so much. She's such a good friend. Like she was like going to the pharmacy and then I started bawling my eyes out the back of a coach.
And then she sends me this like hideous selfie crying.
bad.
And then
I'll
I
insert
sent
it.
her one back as well. I was like, this is so nice. I get to the restaurant before Kate.
Dry. Gemma gets there dry.
Dry, good to go.
And of course, just my luck on the day where the world is apparently ending in Kate's world, I just get torrential rained on. Like
For 5
if you've been
minutes.
to Bali, you know that it's not raining and then it's like heavy downpour and then it stops. So we're on like the freeway, like the big roads, not even like the little side streets, and it's just pelting down. Luckily, I like tucked all my hair up into my little thing, into my helmet. But yeah, I was drenched. So when I came into the restaurant, I was like, hey guys.
Did you
how we
cry
doing?
when it was raining as well?
No, I was laughing. I was like, this is hilarious.
That's psychotic. That's
yeah,
even
like
funnier.
this is actually hilarious, the fact that this happened to me. So yeah, I got dengue fever. There's been a lot of tears.
Yep.
What's another life update from you? You got Bali belly.
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to get graphic with you guys because I just have to take you on this journey
We're all
together.
friends here.
We're all friends here.
And if you guys
also,
are judging, I'm just letting you know.
just sign off now.
yeah, bye.
Goodbye. So I just hope that everyone going into this story remembers the scene from Bridesmaids.
Yep.
We all know that scene. Great. Okay. Kate and I have some sort of salad for lunch. We ordered something from Touche. You might have got something different, but I got a salad. And again, I know the rules of Bali. You don't eat salad leaves and you don't eat ice. For some reason, I was confident. And also it was a really nice, like high-end kind of cafe restaurant. So I was like, we're fine. I have the salad leaves. That's at midday. I eat a lot of food. It gets to 7 p.m. and it dawns on me that I haven't eaten anything since and I haven't had any appetite to eat anything. We decide that we're going to watch the sunset at somewhere on the beach. And we order a cocktail and I have one, mojito is my favorite drink. I have one sip and I'm like, I'm not going to make it to dinner. And then I'm like, no, it'll be okay. I try to go to dinner and as soon as I go there, we meet our friends and I'm like, I'm going to have to projectile vomit. So I leave this really nice table in Yuki. I go to the toilet.
Beautiful restaurant across from the beach, amazing food. Good vibes normally. Yeah. I go to the toilet. I stick my fingers down my throat, I vomit a little bit, and then I hear a 4-year-old child and her mum in the toilet next to me. Great. I just put on a show for them. Yeah.
Fantastic.
You've just ruined that kid's life.
I've just ruined their life.
Thank you.
Anyway, I come back out, I sit at the table and I'm like, okay, maybe after doing that, we'll be okay. And then as soon as your food came out and I smelt it, it made me feel really sick. So I just got up and I was like,
Gemma looked me dead in the eye. She's like, I'm going to have to go. So this is where it gets a bit fucked. So I start walking down the stairs and then it dawns on me that I might not make it home. I'm probably going to either shit myself or I'm going to vomit at the front of this really nice restaurant. I'm wearing all white. I'm wearing linen, white, Bali vibes. I take a couple steps down and then I look to my right and I'm like, that's a bush. This could be the time. But then there's a couple right next to the bush looking like they're on a date night. I start getting really hot. I start freaking out. Where this particular restaurant is, there's no parking on either side. You have to go to the right. So I order a Gojek really quickly and then I start slowly like toddling my little feet, little slow steps because I'm really scared. And I'm like, find a bush and I'm just about to vomit. And then the Gojek driver across the road was like, Gemma? And then I had a decision to make. I'm like, okay, do I vomit in this bush or do I get on the Gojek and just try to last 10 minutes? I felt so ill. I got on the Gojek and I basically had the helmet on, my eyes were closed and I was just like floating in the wind on the way back, trying really hard to resist everything that was happening. I didn't make it 100. This is where it goes down. This is where it goes downhill.
There's only so much I could try. It didn't end up going.
You were fighting for your life.
I was fighting for my life.
You were fighting for your life.
Look, I did shit myself a little bit and I think everyone has once in their life. Don't be a hero.
Yeah, and if you're lying about it, you're lying not only to everyone else but yourself.
But I didn't realise. So that happened. I go inside our villa and then I just projectile and I'm sick all night, feeling really unwell. But I must have looked fucked because the Gojek driver called me 3 times and asked me, did I get in safe?
Oh, so he was probably worried about you.
He's probably worried about me. But anyway, that was quite an experience. Not something I'd recommend anyone do, especially not outside their favourite restaurant in Bali.
But can we just take a little bit of a back step for a sec? We want to just rewind. So we're at this place in Bali. If you guys have been there, across the road from Yuki, it's a place called Times Warung, right?
Yeah.
Where you sit on the green beanbags. This is where she orders her mojito. She is feeling so sick, except the lighting's good. So she forces me to take selfies of her, photos of
I look so ill in all those photos.
She's like, I'm committed to taking a hot photo. So she's posing as she's fucking feeling so deathly ill.
Yep.
And I think you got one good one because I think you posted at least on your story.
I did get one good one and I just feel like
sometimes you
just got to commit. I was already on my downfall. What can I do about it?
Exactly.
Make the most of a good spot. But that was the worst for 24 hours or maybe that whole rest of the day.
I think it was you were sick for like 24 hours and on the last couple of hours of you getting better, I started going downhill.
You went downhill.
So we were like chopping and changing the whole time for the whole, like to be honest, that trip was really good. Like obviously we travel so well together. We have the fucking best times. We always have such a good laugh. We do like little movie nights. We order food in, gelato. We love it. But that trip was fucking hard, man.
Yeah, it was.
We were really sick and like we've both been to Bali so many times now and I've gotten Bali belly once, like really bad while I was there. Otherwise, I've kind of avoided it. But this one like nearly broke me. I was like, I don't even know if I ever want to go back. I was thinking about like changing my flight, coming home early. Like I was like, a thing about us guys, as you know, and majority of you guys listening are the exact same, we really prioritize our health. So when you are sick, you can't do anything, you feel, for me anyways, ultra helpless. Like I am an active person. When I'm like bedridden for 4 days and I can't do anything, I'm like full spiraling in my head. I'm like, I want to be able to do things, and you always like feel shitter about your health when you're not healthy.
Yeah.
So I think for us, we were like, we copped it bad.
It felt like it was constant, but it was more annoying because we were both just like not in good health for a consistent
we kept
amount
swapping.
of time.
So like when I felt good, you felt sick. When you felt good, I felt sick. So it wasn't like we were like having
a great
the
time.
vibes together all the time, like the trip before.
The thing that also, sorry, I just remember how you said I kind of took charge and went to the pharmacy for you. So Kate did that for me, and it was such a power move.
It was
and
hot.
It's a core memory.
It was hot.
The day that
If I was a man, that would be 10 out of 10 smash.
100%. That would be a green flag. So the day that I felt better or semi-better, I needed to be better because I was going to do the welcome for Women's Fitness Academy where you meet all the girls that you're going to teach. So I was like, I'm making it to this. But we had a brekkie with the educators beforehand. And while I'm on the bike, I'm like feeling really nauseous, like I'm not going to make it to this brekkie. And Kate sees my face when we get to the cafe and there's no pharmacies nearby, and she just gets a random driver off the road and she's like, take me to the pharmacy, come back. So I'm standing on the road. She's gone to get all of the stuff for me, and then I was just waiting there helpless, and I just felt so good.
I just saw your face. So Gemma pulled up first, I pulled up after, and I just saw her face, and it was like a look of like, I feel so unwell and I need something to feel better. And I was like, I looked at her, I'm like, there's no pharmacies here, give me 5 minutes. So I got back on the bike and went back the way we came to get you stuff. I just know that feeling, like when you're so far away from home and you feel really sick as well, it's like you just want someone to help you in that moment. Yeah.
The weird thing, because you know how we're like the whole trip wasn't just smooth sailing.
Yeah.
For me as well, like that was so sad because then you got sick. But for me, for the whole rest of the trip, my appetite was off.
I was the same, yeah.
I couldn't eat any of my normal foods.
You copped it worse though. Yeah.
I just had like food aversion to things that I normally love. So anyway, we'll have some time off Bali and we will be back in July 2025.
Yeah.
And this is never going to happen again.
Nah.
We're going to put it in the past.
Nah.
No ice, no lettuce leaves.
I'm just, no dengue fever. I'm just convinced.
No.
If you get dengue fever once, you never get it again. That's not science. It's not backed by anything. That's my theory.
That's Kate Morris putting her foot down.
Yeah, that's putting my foot down. I guess the only other life update was I missed one of my best friend's weddings.
This week, Kate had a bad time at the airport.
She's had a rough week. So two of my closest friends, I'm the goddaughter to their kids. I missed their wedding, which still makes me very emotional right now because I feel really bad about it. One thing I pride myself on being is a really fucking good friend, and I felt like I really let them down in that moment. She's gonna listen to this podcast and be like, girl, it's so fine.
Out of your control.
Anyways, I got to the airport. I had my flight booked at 6 a.m. with Virgin. Got to the airport 4:45. I was like, I'm gonna be early. I can do a little bit of work at the airport. I double checked my boarding pass and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm flying at 8:10 now. So they'd bumped me off the 6 o'clock. I looked up at the board, 6 o'clock, 6:10, 7:10 flights were cancelled, 8:10 was still going ahead. So there was a massive fog issue for like 2 days in Melbourne that I was clearly unaware of. Got to the airport. I was like, cool, it's 4:45. I'm not flying until 8:10. I've got hours to kill. I did all my check-ins. I did all the work that I needed to do at the airport. I am literally lining up at the gate. They scan my phone and it goes red, like bing, ding, whatever. And I thought, oh, maybe it's a seat change, or maybe they put me on like an exit row. You know how sometimes they have to ask you, are you fit and healthy to be able to open an airplane door if whatever happens, right? Yeah. She was like, oh, could you just step to the side? There's a problem with your ticket. So they'd booked me onto the 8:10 flight. They'd oversold it and they'd bumped off me and 10 other people.
Great.
And I was beside myself. I just burst into tears because the wedding was that day. So I was flying in, landing at 7 or 9 o'clock, whatever time I got on the plane. The wedding was at 1:30. I was like, what the fuck? And obviously it's not the girl at the gate's fault. She can't do anything. All she's doing is scanning the boarding passes to get people onto the plane, right? Because she has a plane that needs to take off. Oh, so I was like, can you do anything to help me? Like, can you get me on this plane? She's like, I can't do anything at the gate. You need to go back up to the service desk and pray and hope. So I went up to the service desk and it's just carnage. There's people everywhere because they grounded like 36 domestic flights in the morning. So all the Virgin flights except for that 8:10 flight had been cancelled until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I go up to the lady. I'm like, is there any way you can get me on a flight? Like a business class flight, I'm happy to pay. I don't care. I'll pay fucking $5,000. I don't give a fuck. Like I was like, get me on that fucking flight. I'm not missing this wedding. She was like, there is nothing in business class. Everything's taken. All the flights are booked. The only time I can get you on a flight is either tomorrow morning at 8:10, which they had automatically pushed me off when they scan that thing too, or when they scan my boarding pass, or I could get you on a flight at like 6 o'clock tonight. And I was like, there's no point me going because I've missed the wedding completely. And by the time I get there, it's not going to be like 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. They're all going to be in bed because they've got kids. So I just literally had my first ever public meltdown. Like I was just bawling my eyes out walking through the airport, like put my hood on. I was like full feeling sad for myself. Obviously I had to tell the bride and the grooms that I couldn't make it. And I just felt horrible. I was like, it was a really small wedding as well. So it would have meant like a lot to them for us to be there. And we couldn't make it. So still a touchy subject, but the lesson
day before
is always book a flight the day before any significant event. I thought that, cool, like whatever.
It's close.
Yeah, I'm flying with Virgin. I'm not flying with Jetstar. Shouldn't be an issue. I also tried at the airport to get on and book a Jetstar flight, fully sold out. Everything was sold out. Business class, normal, everything, every airline, every domestic flight. There was literally no way to get me from Melbourne to Brisbane. I was even looking like, cool, maybe I could fly Melbourne to Sydney and then Sydney to Gold Coast and then just hire a car and drive. But by the time I would get there, it would be way too late.
Yeah. It's so sad. I hate that. But also I feel like those are one of those situations where you just have to think, what can I control?
Literally.
Like it's not like you're not a shit friend. You got there at 4:45. There's literally nothing you can do. It's outside of your control. And I mean, you can still be sad about it because that's sad. But
I was sad for a day.
I know. You
like
were,
I was so I think I FaceTimed you and I was so sad. Honestly.
I think being sad is totally reasonable, but also don't beat yourself up.
Yeah. But anyways, I FaceTimed her. She sent me photos and updates throughout the whole day. So I felt like I was there a little bit. But yeah, note to self is don't try and fly on the day.
No.
Ever again in your whole life. And then also I was trying to cancel my hotel or like just let them know that I couldn't make it in case I wanted to resell the room or something. And they don't do cancellations. So you have to cancel within 24 hours. And it's not funny. I just started bawling my eyes out. Right? Because the lady was like, oh, what's the reason for the cancellation? I was like, oh, well, Virgin cancelled my flight and I missed one of my best friend's wedding and it was really important. And then I just started bawling my eyes out on the phone to this poor girl in the customer service. And she was like, I am so sorry out of goodwill because you sound like you've had a really hard morning. I'm going to refund the room. So I ended up getting a full refund for the flight and for the hotel. Don't care about that at all, to be honest.
That's a win.
But it is a win and she was so helpful. And also the people at Virgin, like on the ground, they were so helpful. Like they can't do anything. It's out of their control. But there were some assholes like yelling at them. And I was like, that's just not on. Like you don't be an asshole to customer service people. But I get the frustration. Like I was like so devastated. I was sad. I was fucking bawling my eyes out. This poor lady was like, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm actually not. And she was like, I can't do anything. And I was like, I know you can't. But like, I'm going to have a breakdown and you're just going to have to deal with it for 2 seconds.
I actually feel like there's a certain breed of people at the airport that need a reality check. And
honestly, they need natural selection at this point because they're fucked.
I actually have started taking note because we're going to make a future reel the next time we're at the airport. But there's the foot on the carousel for the bags. Like it's like a power move.
It's like as soon as the plane lands, everyone stands up and they're tall. So they're like hunched under the fucking overhead baggage thing.
They stand up and they're like little rats trying to push through. And there's an order to things. If you're in a line,
you can't move.
You wait in the line.
If you're row 27 on the back of the plane and you're exiting through the front, you're not going anywhere for 25 minutes.
Except
Sit down.
Except that. And I can't. So there's those. There's the like rushing to get out when no one else can go out. There's the foot on the bag carousel, like what is it called?
Blocking everyone's way.
Everyone. There's just no awareness.
If you go in to get your bag and you accidentally hit them on the way with your bag, they give you greasies. It's like, bro, you're in my way. I'm not in your way.
Yeah.
Just step back. You can see further back. Another thing that also annoys me about people at the airport is everyone is so entitled.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so fair enough, I was bumped off a flight. I missed one of my best friend's weddings. I understand that there was the 10 other people yelling at this poor lady.
Yeah.
Because they were obviously frustrated they couldn't get on a flight. I get it's so inconvenient, but also lack of respect. Like You don't need to be a CUNT just because something bad's happened to you. Control your emotions.
The Virgin staff are not controlling the fog. That's the reality.
And they're also not flying the aeroplanes. They have actually nothing to do with the plane.
They are delivering the information that they have been given.
They are scanning people in and getting them on their way. Leave them alone.
Also, we had conflict on our flight.
Did we?
Do you remember? On our flight back from Bali, I was at the window seat. Kate was in the middle. There was an older lady next to Kate. She was projectile vomiting into a bag. But before then, there was a lady with 3 kids just flying by herself with her 3 kids, and
Kate cops it. I cop it on flights.
It was,
bro, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, but with the kids, do you remember the conflict, or were you not watching it?
No. So just quickly, so the flight, not the last time we went to Bali, the time before, we were driving to the airport. I'm feeling incredibly nauseous. I get to the airport, vomit. Remember, I was sick at the airport.
Yeah.
Felt so sick. I was standing in the line in security, trying to get through customs, looking around for a bin that I'm going to vomit in. I was feeling incredibly unsick. Not Bali. I went to Luigi's on a Monday night and drank a little bit too much alcohol, which I never do. So I was just feeling sick. The car ride stopped starting. It's hot, not a vibe. I then get on the plane and I'm next to 2 little kids and the mum. One of the babies was on her lap because she was little. And I was fine with it. Like, me and this little kid became besties. We were like colouring in his colouring book and whatever. I didn't know that this was unfolding in front of me though.
Yeah. As in, are you talking about the recent one?
The 2 children.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the last flight. A lady, so just a quick recap and then I'm going to give you another life update. But essentially we got on the flight and a lady had 3 kids and the airline had all seated them separately. And one of her little kids was really anxious. And she said to the person sitting next to her, can we please switch so I could sit next to her kids? And then the lady deadpanned her and said no, because she wants to sit next to her husband, which is fine.
They were an elderly couple. Like, I do get it. I feel sad for both because she was really sad because her kids were like screaming and crying and really anxious about flying. The mum started bursting into tears.
It was a lot.
And then I felt bad for the elderly couple because she didn't want to separate from her husband because her husband was deaf.
Yeah.
So like, I get it. I get it. And obviously they want to be on the aisle in case anything happens. Like, but yeah, it was hectic.
It was hectic for a bit.
And then I sit down next to this lady who was fucking lovely.
She was beautiful.
If she's ever listening to this podcast, I still feel so sad for her and I don't want her to ever feel bad about it because it was so embarrassing for her. She was fine. We're having a laugh. She was like, oh, I'm going to wear a mask because I just don't want to get sick. I've got my friend's wedding in a couple of days. I don't want to get sick. It's not you, it's me, whatever. I was like, yep, you do you, girl, whatever. 5 minutes into the flight, she starts projectile vomiting into a bag.
Yeah.
And then she's obviously so embarrassed and she keeps like profusely apologizing to me because I'm sitting right next to her. I was like, it's so fine. Like, happens to all of us. You're sick. You can't help it. The only thing I was thinking is just don't vomit on me.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
As long as I'm not covered in vomit, we're good. But yeah, I felt really bad. I feel like every time I'm on a flight, I just get seated next to the people that are vomiting, the kids that are fucking yelling. I had to become best friends when I was so incredibly ill to this tiny little 4-year-old. Oh, anyways, it was hectic. And he kept trying to, what's the word? Like,
sit on your lap?
Nah, like what's the word?
I don't know what word, mate.
Like haggle me for my fucking window seat. He's 4 years old and he's trying to haggle me. He's like, I wanted that seat. I was like, well, you didn't get it. And then he was like, oh, I really want it. And every time I went to the bathroom, I'd come back and he'd be sitting in my chair, like looking out the window. And then I was like, take it all in, buddy, because that seat is mine.
Yeah, move over, mate. That's actually
It was
great.
really cute. I think that's all of our life updates.
Oh, yeah. What else have we got? Renos,
Bali, dengue fever, shitting our pants outside of Yuki, someone vomiting nearly on top of us in an aeroplane.
you being a shit friend and missing her wedding.
Me being a shit friend, bottom of the barrel, missing my friend's wedding, crying at the airport in public. I think that's enough.
I reckon that's enough. Yeah. I'm sure that more's going to happen between now and
Do we have any good life updates?
Sorry, yeah.
I mean, Reno is a good thing. I've just had shit ones.
positivity into we're finishing this off on a high.
My only good life update would be that it's coming towards the end of the year. I'm going away for Christmas and New Year's for 10 days. Hopefully we have some good weather. I'm just going to spend time plugged out, whatever, offline, in the sun, with a group of the people that I love the most, doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for it. I can't wait. I have massive plans for next year, but we'll talk about that later.
Same.
All right, love you guys.
Bye.
You know what to do. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to rate this podcast 5 stars. You can listen to us on YouTube. You can watch us now on Spotify because if you haven't noticed, we've added the videos onto Spotify.
And it looks great.
And we appreciate you. We love you. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.